Vitamin D3 is a hot topic right now, but what if I told you I went the entire winter without taking any D3 supplements and kept my levels at a 60? Stay tuned to the video to find out more. Welcome back, my friends. My name is Sarah. I am known as Carnivore Yogi. Thank you so much for being here and clicking on today's video. Today, I'm going to talk to you about what I ate, what I didn't eat, all the routines that I kept in place in order to keep my D3 levels at a 60 without taking any supplements. Now, this is certainly not medical advice, but I personally choose not to take D3 supplements, nor do I take melatonin, because D3 and melatonin are both actually hormones. And once you begin to ingest a hormone or take a hormone, it does break down your body's ability to endogenously produce those hormones. Therefore, you're going to kind of blunt out some of those benefits that everyone talks about when they talk about vitamin D3. So I will also link in the information section below a few videos of different experts and doctors I have spoken with on this topic if you want to investigate it further, as well as explore some of the science when it comes down to this type of thing. So again, not medical advice, my personal choice, and again, why I did not take any supplements over the winter. I also want to mention I am doing a webinar on Sunday, April 10th called Harnessing the Power of the Sun Safely to Boost Your Metabolism, because D is a measure of metabolic health. Believe it or not, it actually is. Your body's ability to absorb vitamin D is a marker of metabolic health and store vitamin D. So I'm going to do a webinar that's going to detail a lot of the things that I talk about in this video in a lot more detail. So make sure you check that out. Again, linked in the information section. Third little announcement, and there are timestamps in the information section if you want to skip around, is that I did use an at-home blood test kit by Let's Get Checked. You can use my code YOGI30. They are one of my sponsors. But I checked my vitamin D3 using that at-home test, and I've actually gone to the doctor, gotten labs run on the same day, and the labs and the Let's Get Checked numbers are always pretty much the same. So that's a great way if you don't want to go to the doctor to get your D3 levels checked. You can use the Let's Get Checked test kit, vitamin D test, and again, my code is YOGI30. All right, so let's jump into this. How did I even get interested in vitamin D3? Well, in 2021, the beginning of the year, I actually had put on some weight, about 20 pounds, and I was very frustrated. I started to work with a practitioner, Dr. Courtney Hunt, who measured my vitamin D3 levels. She was the first practitioner that even asked what they were, and they were a 33. She's the one who explained to me that it was really my relationship with light that was causing these low levels, and that the low levels were also correlated with my metabolic health and my body's ability to burn fat, and again, have a fast metabolism. So she gave me a plan. She helped me to start changing my relationship with light, which included daily sunrise, as well as UVA. She did not tell me this, but I learned it later as I became a quantum health coach, that those two signals are extremely important for your body to, again, absorb vitamin D as well as synthesize it from the sun, because your body is getting the signal from the sunrise to turn off your melatonin and start to gradually turn on your cortisol. And UVA light tells your body to start making dopamine, serotonin, tryptophan, tyrosine, pregnenolone, thyroid hormone, all of those things. And it's also the signal for your body to later make melatonin that night. So I was never going outside. I was never seeing sunrise. So I started doing that immediately. I also use the D-Minder app, which I'm going to detail this in my webinar a little bit more if you're interested, to start gauging my time in the sun, because I did not use sunscreen. I don't believe that sunscreen is naturally good for us. There are a lot of chemicals in sunscreen that can cause you to get skin cancer, believe it or not. I think if anyone wants to use sunscreen, they should try to just cover up, use the D-Minder app, and then in worst case scenarios, maybe use like a zinc oxide. Again, not medical advice, just my personal decision. But by the end of July, I had gotten my level up to a 60. I did test with the at-home Let's Get Checked kit. It was a 60. And then by the end of September, it was an 80. So I was able to get those levels up. And I had also lost 30 pounds without dramatically changing my diet. So that was really exciting to me. And I wanted to keep those benefits up through the winter, those metabolic benefits up through the winter. So I invested in a Sperti vitamin D lamp. Now I do have one linked in the information section, and I got a discount code from them. I actually got mine from Amazon, but if you use my code Carnivore Yogi on their website, you can save 10%. And I also used an EMR Tech red light device, which I have a 20% code is Carnivore Yogi 20 to use that one, because when you are exposing your body to UVB rays outside, there's always red light available. Red light is a natural sunscreen. So a lot of the studies that have been done on the sun actually are done with tanning beds. And those are the ones that say the sun causes skin cancer, sun causes skin damage, all that stuff, because you're just using one ray of light. You're not getting the natural red light. So when I used the Sperti lamp, I used it 3 days a week. I would always see sunrise and UVA light on those days to precondition my skin to allow that hormone release, which is extremely vital. And then I would, in conjunction with the Sperti lamp, have a red light going, my Inferno device. You could also use a Fire Wave from EMR Tech going at the same time, okay? So I did that again 3 days a week. I would do the front of my torso, 5 minutes, back of my torso, 5 minutes, and I'd have the Inferno on my legs. Then I'd bring it on the floor, do the front of my legs, back of my legs, also have the Inferno kind of flipping around with that. Again, 3 days a week, and paying very close attention to my circadian rhythms as well as my diet. So I am going to talk about diet, I promise. But circadian rhythms are very, very important, because when your body is out of rhythm, your body is stressed out. Your body is not producing the correct hormones, again, to absorb and store vitamin D. Your metabolism is going to be off. So sunrise every single morning, UVA light, as much natural light as I could possibly get, blue blockers with at appropriate times. So underneath bad lighting, I'd use the yellow, taking breaks to go outside, see the sun when I'd be on the computer for a long time. Also sunset, I'd go see that every day. I'd stop eating after sunset. And then I would dim all the lights in my home and put on red blue blockers in the evening. Again, that helps to keep the circadian rhythm intact, which alone can boost your metabolism. So that was my routine with the lamps and circadian rhythms. With food, I stayed on a carnivore diet during the winter. I also made sure I added in wild seafood like salmon roe, sardines, oysters, at least 4 days a week, because those are great sources of vitamin D. But here's a little secret. Your liver's only going to absorb about 2% of that vitamin D. So that's not really why I ate those. I ate those more because they're really good at transporting electrons in the body. And for vitamin D to be absorbed and transmitted, then you need a good electron flow in your body. You also need that for your mitochondrial health. So those are important for mitochondrial health. Also ate a lot of egg yolks, a lot of butter, again, rich in vitamin D, and a lot of red meat. So that was really my diet. And I think that that contributed as well to my body being able to hang on to that vitamin D, keep the level high. Because if we're eating out of season, if we're eating things, there's no carbohydrates growing in my latitude during the winter. There might be in yours, but there's not in mine. So keeping to an ancestral diet keeps your body out of being in stress. And so if I was eating a bunch of carbs and sugar, it would have been stressful for my body because it's not ancestrally appropriate and it's not going in rhythm with the light code that naturally happens that time of year. With my workouts, I just walked outdoors, and occasionally I would drag my weights outside when the weather was nice enough and do more of like a time under tension type of workout. Now during the summer, and this is why I'm doing a webinar to kind of explain this a little bit more, during the summer, I will be doing more high intensity workouts, more sweaty kind of endurance type of workouts. But during the winter, again, you don't want to overdo it, because if your body gets overly stressed, you get depleted, you can lose magnesium, and then your body does not have that ability to store that vitamin D as well. Hydration was also very, very important, and I'll go into this more in my webinar. But when you're dehydrated, your body does not have that ability to absorb vitamin D as well. So I always made sure to stay very hydrated, and that does not mean just drinking water. That also means adding appropriate minerals when needed. So again, I'll talk about that more in my webinar. But minerals are very, very important. If you have low magnesium, it's going to be very difficult for your body to hold on to vitamin D. I also made sure not to expose my body to too much radiation, so try to keep the EMFs down as much as possible, turn off the Wi-Fi at night, try to put my cell phone on airplane mode whenever possible, again, because those things do stress out the body. So there's a lot of stuff that I did, but again, I was able to keep my levels at a 60. I'm excited to see where I can get my levels to this summer, and I will definitely keep you guys updated. I will keep using the Let's Get Checked test. So if you want to just check and see where your levels are starting here beginning of April, I would go ahead and check that out and just see where you are, because again, those levels are going to show your metabolic health, your body's ability to absorb that and store that as well. All right, guys, I hope this was super helpful. Would love to have you at my webinar, so check that out in the information section, as well as any of the other resources I mentioned. Feel free to leave me a comment if you've got one or a question, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.